It's Conduit News Radio with Paul Harrell.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the program. 870-275-9799. That's the telephone number if you would like to contribute to the conversation today. Folks, I can't believe this. There's a lot of people that are very, very happy with President Trump, and I'm one of them. I think it's really so refreshing. But the one thing that I think a lot of Second Amendment advocates were upset with, including myself, was the bump stock ban. A lot of people were worried that, hey, maybe is this a dry run? And then, of course, a lot of people's bump stocks just, came up missing. Like, oh, you remember that flood we had? I lost the bump stock in the flood. Folks, here to talk more about this, I want to introduce you to Mike Stewart. He is one of the co-founders of RW Arms, which was the largest seller of bump stocks in the nation up until the ban began. And Mike joins us on the program. Mike, how are you this morning, sir?
Good, and thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So your company had to destroy, 72,000 bump stocks that you had on the shelf?
I believe it was right at 73,000.
Wow. And so right now you're suing the federal government for compensation. How's that going?
Well, we're waiting for a response back from the initial complaint, and then other than that, it's just going to be a battle in the court systems that we're going to let the lawyers handle and just put our best foot forward and continue on with the battle.
What's the economic impact of this to you? I mean, was this one of the main products that you sold on your website?
This was one of our main products. We actually went back and looked at it and was doing numbers, and it was about 40% of our sales were bump stocks at the time. So we're a small business. We're 100% veteran owned and run. You take away 40% of anybody's business, it's going to hurt.
My goodness. So when you first heard that this was going to happen under the Trump administration, what were your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts were, and a lot of people have asked about this. I'm a Republican, and I voted for Trump, and I support my president and continue to support my president. That being said, do I have to agree with every single policy the president comes out with? No, and I don't agree with this one. So it hurt. Like I said, it hurt the company, and I don't agree with this one, but I will continue to support Trump.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, that's I think that a lot of people would respect and admire that. I mean, not everyone's going to agree 100% of the time, but this is the Second Amendment is about your right to protect yourself, your family. It's a natural right. It's not given from the government. And why do you think? I mean, we kind of lost the argument here somehow, in terms of making bump stocks bad, making bump stocks the enemy. Why do you think that is?
Well, it's because of the single person that goes out and does something wrong, like the guy in Vegas. That was a heinous act. He was a madman. It shouldn't have ever happened. But instead of focusing on the person that actually did it and the real issue, the mental health or whatever caused it, we're now, focusing on the tool, which is what they seem to always do when it comes to firearm incidents. We talk about Timothy McVeigh blew up a building with a car. We don't talk about a car. We talk about him. But it seems like every time something happens with a firearm, people want to jump on that and focus on that when that's just a tool. If you put those rifles or those bump stocks in the room and you don't put that man there, then nothing happens.
Yeah. Hey, Joe, will you throw his website? It's rwarms.com. Throw that up on the screen here. I just want everyone to see this is you can go to this website and you can shop around at the different products. You guys have a lot of different products, don't you, Mike?
Yes, sir. We pride ourselves on bringing the latest and greatest of innovations and technology to the firearms accessory market. We carry drums, magazines, a lot of triggers. We also have the Fostech Echo trigger, which is another way to rapid fire your rifle. We have hard chargers. We carry a lot of assortment of a whole lot of things for your rifles.
So talk about it from a business owner. Are you worried at all that you're a business owner that's in the firearm industry? Are you worried at all that you're going to start to be targeted by banks and things like PayPal and other, credit cards, companies are thinking about not doing business. They're being pressured, to just not do business with, any sort of firearm company at all. Are you running into any of that?
Oh, that's happening industry-wide already. There's been a lot of banks and companies and credit card processing that step away from the firearms industry, and it does make it hard for business owners because you only have so many options out there for you. But there's some out there that are very Second Amendment friendly, and you stick with those and hope that they don't ever change their mind. But it is getting harder and harder in this industry for processing and banks.
Talk a little bit about slippery slope. Are you worried? I mean, what are, if they ban bump stocks, what are they going to ban next?
It's a very slippery slope, and I've said this before. And a lot of people say, "What's a bump stock?" I don't care about bump stocks. And I try to tell people, I understand if you don't like bump stocks, it's not for everybody. But the ATF under the Obama administration looked at bump stocks several times and said they were legal. This the tragedy happened in Vegas, and President Trump came out and without legislation was able to overturn that rule and make these illegal. Now, what did he make illegal? He made a plastic stock illegal that has no mechanical parts or functions to the rifle. It didn't change any mechanical things to the rifle. And what he essentially did was made them machine guns overnight without legislation and just changed the rule. And not only did he do that, he essentially made law-abiding firearm owners felons overnight if they didn't turn them in and destroy them, which is a complete overreach of the Second Amendment. And not only if you turned them in or destroyed them, you're not going to get reimbursed. So that's where the lawsuit came in, where the Fifth Amendment taking. So it is a very, very slippery slope. What's going to have to stop the next administration would come in and say, that trigger is a light trigger. You're able to shoot faster that way. Or that scope is able to let you see out further. What's going to stop them from saying something else is illegal and take away and infringe more on our Second Amendment rights?
Yeah, and we had the left. I know Kamala Harris, she's running for president. She was like, if you want to hunt, that's fine, but we've got to have these gun control measures. And of course, this is what frustrates me, Mike, is a lot of their ideas wouldn't have stopped the mass shootings in recent memory. So I'm starting to think, well, are these guys even serious? I mean, they say, well, we don't want to take your Second Amendment away. That's not the argument. And then they propose measures that wouldn't have stopped the mass shootings. I'm thinking, I think you do want to take my Second Amendment right away.
And all they're doing is adding more laws. And what do laws do? Laws make it harder for law-abiding gun owners, make it harder for them to get rifles. Because a criminal doesn't listen to laws. If he's going to go and get a gun and kill somebody, he's going to do it regardless. Because it's already illegal to murder somebody. And that's not stopping them.
What about California? To talk a little bit about that, because they had a high-capacity magazine ban, and that actually was struck down. That has to be some good news.
It was struck down, but I believe it was a week later the same judge came in and put a stay on the same rule and made them illegal again.
That's so frustrating. Do you think are there any court challenges to just banning the bump stocks the way the executive branch, the way Trump did? So out there on the Second Amendment front, we are supporting the Gun Owners of America and the Firearms Policy Coalition. They're two great organizations out there fighting the front on that and supporting the Second Amendment and really in the court systems battling for our rights. Yeah. Let me ask you this about Gun Owners for America. Contrast that with the NRA. I don't, I'm not like an encyclopedia, but I seem to remember the NRA kind of being okay with the bump stock ban. Is that true?
That was true. The NRA hasn't stepped up and fought this battle. They haven't said anything. They actually came out in support of it at one time and just completely ignored this battle and the infringement on the Second Amendment.
That's very frustrating. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say the NRA doesn't do good things, but it seems like they have maybe more of an attitude that lends itself towards surrender, meaning, well, the regulations are coming, they're inevitable, so we might as well be the ones to write them. That's the way the NRA seems to approach, gun control, in my opinion.
The NRA has done great work in the past, but there has been a lot of people when this came out saying that they were going to do this without legislation, looking to the NRA saying, hey, here's our fight. We've got to fight this. And there was nothing from the NRA, so it was very disappointing.
That's very disappointing. Well, Mike Stewart, again, Mike is the co-founder of RW Arms. You can go to rwarms.com and check out their great products. And I'm really sorry, again, folks, you say 73,000, right, Mike?
Yes, sir.
73,000 bump stocks they had to destroy. Let me ask you this. How do you go about destroying the bump stocks? What do? You burn them?
No, we actually took them under the supervision of the ATF down to a shredder and had them crushed and recycled.
Wow. Yeah, I guess if you burn them, you'd probably get some sort of EPA violation. I mean, why not throw in another government agency while we're at it? Yeah, okay. Well, that's unfortunate. So I think you should be compensated for that, especially the fact that this wasn't debated, in a legislative setting. This was just an executive order, and now you guys, they've affected your business in a huge way, and I think definitely you guys have a case, and let's hope it moves forward. And I wish you the best of luck, sir.
I appreciate you having me on, and we'll just keep everybody posted on how it is and continue to fight the battle and supporting the Gun Owners America and Firearms Policy Coalition also.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mike. Mike Stewart, he's the co-founder, again, RW Arms, and they were the largest seller of bump stocks in the nation until this bump stock ban went into place. And it really is the one thing that really had me scratching my head that this happened, under the Trump administration. I think it did all happen right. It came the outrage was right after the Las Vegas shooting, which is extremely confusing in and of itself. That whole event, in terms of motive. I mean, you don't ever hear that, by the way. We still don't really know what the motive of that guy was.